Yeah, Brees, there is. Her name is Rachel Baribeau. She was selected by the playoff committee to serve as an insider and give her input on SEC football, on football in this entire country. And she's been a staple of the media in the SEC for decades now. She actually hosts her own show, the Rachel Baribeau Show, that comes on right after our very own Mike Johnson on the Backroads Sports Network. But her impact in sports goes well beyond football.
I used to cover him at Alabama. We went back and forth on it. I understand, respect his opinion, but I don't think that Ed Ogeron was only squarely going, it's on you, player.
I'm doing this for all the little girls out there. I'm doing it for all the big girls out there that had dreams that maybe they never came to pass, or maybe they're still working towards those dreams.
That's why Loxley, yeah.
Breaking barriers is impressive, but it's never been enough for Rachel Baribeau.
I've earned this. I have paid my dues. I have worked my rear end off in this industry. I know my stuff. I study a lot. I'm a student of the game. I never stop studying.
Alabama lined up and knocked their bleep in the dirt.
Rachel's storied career is documented by the hundreds of credentials, pictures, and memorabilia that fill her Nashville home, like small rewards for the years of work and never-ending grind.
I worked for 3 years for free, so I finally got this paying job, and we had great ratings, and it was in Columbus, Georgia, and it was awesome. But this guy would call in once a week for a couple weeks and say, "Hey girl, you don't know nothing about football. You ain't never strapped on a helmet."
Rather than get defensive, Rachel grew determined and became the first female sports reporter to go through a professional football training camp.
I lasted for 5 days of two-a-days, and they beat me black and blue. I mean, where there's 3 hours of football in the morning, and I would crawl home and pass out, and there were 3 hours of football at night. I played wide receiver and DB.
That experience became Rachel's fuel behind blazing a path for women in sportscasting. She was awarded the prestigious Heisman vote and recently selected to serve as an insider for the college football playoffs.
Rob, one of the things that...
But Rachel's professional platform has a much bigger purpose.
The world needs you to stand up and be the man that you were created to be.
In 2016, she launched her foundation, Changing the Narrative, a movement inspired by former Alabama and NFL star Kevin Turner, who passed away after a lengthy battle with ALS.
He never stopped laughing. He never stopped giving. He sat down on my radio show the first time I met him because I felt pity for him, as he couldn't open his soda bottle. He said, "You could step off a curb tomorrow and get hit by a bus." He said, "I got a heads up on my life. I say I'm sorry. I hug my kids. I live every day to the fullest." And the greatest lesson that he taught me is it's not about you. And without him, I never would have started changing the narrative.
Football is a vehicle for you to find your own climb for Kevin.
The foundation has taken Baribeau all over the country, where she speaks with athletes about finding purpose beyond their sport.
And I had a young man in a large SEC school. He's about to cry, and he said, "Thank you for reminding me that I'm supposed to be something other than a football player." And we wonder why so many of our young men are dying inside, mental health-wise. We wonder why so many of our young men, when football is done with them at the high school level, or collegiate level, or NFL level, are broken because their identity is so closely tied to football.
But don't take this bracelet if you're going to walk out of here and be the same man you were when you walked in.
Rachel's message and testimony has expanded to female athletes as she continues to dedicate her life to changing the narrative.
We need kings and queens. We need people that are willing, when somebody's hurting, not to turn their head, not to go, "That's not my business, I'm not going to get involved." We need people who are willing to get in the ditch with people when it's ugly. When I die, if it's tomorrow or 30 years from now or 50 years from now, I don't want to be remembered for being a Heisman voter. I want to be remembered for the legacy that I leave with these players.
Well, it goes without saying that Rachel Baribeau has paved the way for women in sportscasting like myself, but the impact that she's making with changing the narrative is just tremendous. Everyone around the country, teams, players, coaches are wearing this bracelet. I am changing the narrative. You can go to IamChangingTheNarrative.org for more information on Rachel and her foundation.